Juan Soto didn't just get ejected. He crossed a line that no player in this league should ever cross. He went after Shohei Ohtani, personally, verbally, and allegedly physically. And now, MLB isn't just watching. MLB is investigating. This is the story that has shaken the entire baseball world, and we are breaking it down, every single detail, right now. Welcome back to Baseball Tribune, the channel that brings you the fastest, most accurate, and most complete MLB coverage anywhere on YouTube. If this is your first time here, do yourself a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we cover stories like this every single day, and you do not want to be the last one to know. Today's video is a big one. We are covering two major developments surrounding Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers. First, the explosive incident that erupted during Game 1 of the Dodgers-Mets series, involving Juan Soto, a brawl, and an immediate ejection. And second, a serious pitching update on Ohtani that every single Dodgers fan needs to hear before the second half of the season goes any further. Stay with us through the entire video, because both of these stories are connected by one thing: the future of the most valuable player in baseball today. To understand why this incident hit so hard, you first need to understand what the Dodgers vs. Mets rivalry actually represents in today's game. This is not just two teams playing baseball. This is a clash between two of the most financially powerful organizations in all of Major League Baseball. The Dodgers and the Mets have spent hundreds of millions of dollars, in some cases, billions, assembling rosters filled with elite talent at every single position. When these two teams meet, the atmosphere is never neutral. It is always electric. It is always intense. And the stakes feel enormous, even in the regular season, because both clubs know they are built to compete for the World Series. Every game between them carries the weight of championship ambition. In that kind of environment, competitive intensity is expected. Trash talk between players happens. That is part of professional sports. Players push each other verbally, try to get inside each other's heads, and use whatever edge they can find. That is accepted. That is normal. But what happened in Game 1 of this series was not normal. It was not accepted. And it was certainly not within the boundaries of what this sport allows. What started as a high-stakes regular season matchup quickly turned into something that nobody in that stadium, or watching at home, was prepared to see. It happened at a critical moment in the game. Both teams were fighting for control of the pace, the momentum, the flow of play. And right in the center of it all, as he always is, was Shohei Ohtani. Every single time Ohtani steps into the batter's box, the opposing defense has to adjust. His presence alone changes the entire calculus of a game. The Mets knew that. And according to multiple players who were present at the stadium and witnessed the incident firsthand, Juan Soto decided to do something about it, not through baseball, but through words. The remarks Soto allegedly directed at Ohtani were not your standard competitive trash talk. Every player in this league understands the difference between trying to get in someone's head and genuinely crossing into personal insult territory. These words, according to witnesses, fell squarely in the second category. They were directed personally at Ohtani. They were meant to demean him. And they caught Ohtani off guard, not because he is unfamiliar with pressure or competition, but because what was said went beyond anything that could be justified as part of the game. But here is where the incident escalated from bad to completely unacceptable. Soto allegedly did not stop at words. Eyewitnesses at the stadium reported that Juan Soto physically attacked Ohtani. The moment that contact happened, the entire game changed. Players from both dugouts emptied onto the field. Coaches, teammates, reserves, everyone came rushing in. The situation went from tense to explosive within seconds. When it comes to the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani is not just the biggest star on the roster. He is the emotional core of the entire organization. He is the reason fans show up. He is the reason the Dodgers command global attention in every market where baseball is played. He is the player who, when healthy and performing at his best, is genuinely in the conversation for the greatest two-way talent the sport has ever seen. So when he was insulted and then allegedly attacked, the Dodgers dugout did not simply react, it erupted. Manager Dave Roberts was the first person out of the dugout. He was not calm. He was not measured. He sprinted onto the field and immediately demanded that the umpiring crew take decisive action. Roberts made it clear to the officials that what Soto had done was completely unacceptable and needed to be punished right there, on the spot, without hesitation. The umpiring crew assessed the situation and made the call. Juan Soto was ejected immediately. It was the right call. It was the necessary call. Had Soto remained on the field with emotions at that level, with the Dodgers as angry as they were, with Ohtani having just been physically targeted, there is a very real chance the situation could have erupted into something far more dangerous. The ejection was not just a punishment. It was the only thing that stood between that moment and a full-scale incident that could have resulted in serious injuries and even longer suspensions across the board. But the ejection was just the beginning. Major League Baseball does not take incidents like this lightly. And in this case, the league moved quickly. An official investigation was opened to review every aspect of what happened. That investigation covers everything: the words Soto allegedly directed at Ohtani, the physical contact that reportedly took place, the reactions from both teams during the brawl, and the complete report submitted by the umpiring crew who were on the field when everything went down. An MLB official made a statement that was direct and unambiguous: any act of violence on the field will be punished. The investigation will be thorough, and the decision that comes out of it will be fair to all parties involved. That statement matters, because when you're talking about a rivalry of this scale, the Dodgers and the Mets, two of the most watched and most followed teams in the entire sport, every decision the league makes will be scrutinized by millions of fans, analysts, and members of the media. If MLB is seen as going easy on Soto simply because he is a superstar, the backlash would be enormous. And if the league overreacts without a full understanding of what actually occurred, it creates a different set of problems. The investigation is the correct process. And based on what witnesses have reported, the outcome is not expected to be light. What does this mean for Juan Soto going forward? A suspension is on the table. Financial penalties are possible. And perhaps most importantly, his reputation, already complicated by his massive contract and the pressure that comes with it, takes another significant hit at exactly the wrong moment in the season. Through all of this, Shohei Ohtani handled himself in exactly the way you would expect from someone of his character. He did not play the victim. He did not inflame the controversy. He did not use the incident to make himself look sympathetic or to put additional pressure on MLB to punish Soto more severely. Instead, Ohtani delivered a response that was quiet, composed, and actually quite powerful in its restraint. He made clear that he has always given and will always give everything he has for his team and for the fans. He welcomes intense competition. He respects his opponents. He understands that elite-level baseball sometimes involves psychological pressure and competitive friction. All of that is part of the game, and Ohtani has never shied away from it. But there is a boundary. And when someone crosses that boundary, when personal insults replace competitive intensity, and when verbal aggression turns physical, Ohtani will not simply absorb it and move on. He made clear that his competitive spirit cannot and will not be damaged by actions like that. That is not how he plays. That is not who he is. That response says everything about why this man is not just the biggest star in baseball, but also one of the most respected figures in all of professional sports. The baseball community, for its part, responded with serious concern. Fans, analysts, and former players all raised the same question. If a player of Ohtani's stature can be physically targeted during a game without serious, immediate consequences, what does that mean for the safety and integrity of the sport going forward? The answer, most people agree, is that MLB must draw a hard line here. Not just for Ohtani. For every player in the league. Now let's talk about the second major story surrounding Shohei Ohtani, and this one has significant implications for the Dodgers' championship ambitions in the second half of the season. Manager Dave Roberts confirmed in a recent press conference that Ohtani will not be returning to the pitcher's mound anytime soon. The issue is his left knee, which has been a concern for the organization for several weeks now. Before the All-Star break, the Dodgers had Ohtani receive a lubricating injection directly into his left knee. The goal of that treatment was to support the cartilage in the joint and reduce the friction that had been building up during the first half of the season. The hope was that the All-Star break would give the treatment enough time to work, and that Ohtani would come back in the second half ready to contribute both as a hitter and as a starting pitcher. That hope has not yet been realized. After his most recent catch-play session, a fundamental evaluation tool that tests arm feel, basic force transfer, and the body's overall response to pitching movements, Ohtani's knee had still not returned to fully normal function. Even more concerning, he did not complete his scheduled bullpen session. Roberts addressed this directly and without sugarcoating it. It may take more time before he returns to the mound. This is not a minor issue that we can simply monitor day by day and then make an immediate decision. That is a significant shift in tone from the Dodgers organization. Earlier in the season, the approach was cautious optimism. Monitor the knee closely, reassess frequently, and make decisions based on how Ohtani felt from one session to the next. Now, Roberts is signaling something different. This is a longer-term management situation. There is no set timeline, and the team is prioritizing Ohtani's long-term health over any individual start in the regular season. For fans who want to understand why the left knee is such a major concern specifically for pitching, and not just for hitting, here is the breakdown. When Ohtani pitches, his left knee is involved in almost every phase of his delivery. It absorbs force during his stride. It provides the stability he needs during hip rotation. It plays a direct role in how he lands after releasing the ball and how he follows through on every single pitch he throws. The stress on that joint during a full pitching performance is significant, multiplied across every pitch in a 7 or 8 inning outing. If the knee is not fully stable, Ohtani's body will naturally and unconsciously compensate. He will begin to alter his mechanics, subtle adjustments that he may not even be aware of, in order to avoid pain or discomfort in that joint. And those mechanical alterations are dangerous. They do not just reduce the quality and velocity of his pitches. They create secondary stress on other parts of his body: his elbow, his shoulder, his hip, his lower back. Turning one manageable joint issue into a cascade of secondary injuries is exactly the outcome the Dodgers are trying to prevent. The team has invested an extraordinary amount in Shohei Ohtani. He is the centerpiece of everything the Dodgers are trying to build, not just for this season but for the next decade. Rushing him back to the mound before his knee is genuinely ready would be a short-term decision with potentially catastrophic long-term consequences. And the Dodgers are smart enough to know that. Postponing a few starts, even against a tough opponent like the Phillies, is a completely acceptable price to pay for the certainty of having a fully healthy Ohtani available when the postseason begins. Now, to fully appreciate just how much the Dodgers are sacrificing by keeping Ohtani off the mound, look at his first-half pitching numbers. 14 starts, 85.2 innings pitched, an 8-2 record, a 1.79 earned run average, 95 strikeouts. Read those numbers again. A 1.79 ERA across 85 innings is not the performance of a good pitcher. It is the performance of a generational ace. Ohtani was not just limiting runs, he was completely neutralizing some of the best lineups in baseball, inning after inning, start after start. His high-velocity fastball was generating elite swing and miss rates. His sweeper was breaking bats and destroying timing. His command was sharp. His sequencing was intelligent. He was, without question, one of the top 2 or 3 starting pitchers in all of baseball during the first half of the season. Losing that from the rotation hurts. There is no way around it. Every start that Ohtani does not make is a start that falls to a pitcher who is not at that level. And in a division and league where every game in the second half matters for seeding, that is a real cost. But the Dodgers have depth. They can manage this stretch. And the value of a fully healthy Ohtani, mechanics locked in, knee stable, delivering at that 1.79 ERA level, in September and especially October far outweighs the risk of sending him out too soon and watching something minor become something serious. The good news, and it is genuinely good news, is that Ohtani remains fully active as a designated hitter. The Dodgers have not found anything that requires removing him from the batting lineup. His bat stays in the game. His presence in the order remains a threat that opposing pitchers have to plan around every single night. But pitching and hitting place entirely different demands on the body. As a DH, Ohtani takes a controlled number of swings, runs the bases when he gets on, and manages his physical output carefully. As a starting pitcher, he is placing repeated, high-intensity mechanical stress on his entire lower body for several innings at a time. The Dodgers are managing those 2 roles completely separately, and that separation is exactly the right approach given where his knee currently stands. Here is the bottom line. The Dodgers are not panicking. They are not scrambling. They are not making desperate decisions. They are doing exactly what a championship organization should do, protecting their most important asset, playing the long game, and keeping their eyes on the only thing that matters in October: the World Series. Shohei Ohtani has already proven this season that he can be one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. He has already proven that his bat is a weapon that no lineup can afford to ignore. And he has proven, through how he handled the Soto incident, through how he continues to compete every single night, and through the quiet dignity with which he carries himself, that he is not just a great baseball player. He is a great competitor and a great person. The knee will heal. The investigation will conclude. And when Ohtani steps back on that mound, fully healthy, fully locked in, pitching with his real mechanics and his real stuff, the rest of this league better be ready. Because the Dodgers are not done. Not even close. That is all for today's video. If you made it this far, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story, and share this video with the biggest MLB fan in your life. We will see you in the next one right here on Baseball Tribune.